You know, in the past few months, we've had a bunch of new games release on the Roblox platform. Games that had always been getting hyped up for the longest time. Games that people seem to always be talking about. All over my YouTube feed, I'd see the new best anime game on Roblox or top 5 upcoming Roblox anime games you need to play. But unlike most people, it seems, I can never really get hyped for these games anymore. Sure, I'll probably watch the video, maybe I'll like it, hell, maybe I'll even look into the game. But I never really get excited for them, no matter what I'm shown. And I feel like that's because I've been disillusioned with Roblox anime game releases. It's probably something that's been a long time coming, something maybe even years in the making, but it's only recently that I came to fully acknowledge it. I've had a long history with being disappointed with upcoming Roblox games. One that makes me more skeptical when looking at all these new games. I hope I can share some of that with you this video, to give you a perspective on why me and potentially many other people can no longer get excited for these games. I feel like, as someone who's been playing Roblox since I was a kid, and who used to be a rather good game developer, I can give some insights into this whole situation. Just as a quick side note, this video isn't intended to make you a pessimist, or say you shouldn't get excited for a game releasing. I just hope that looking through my lens at this whole thing might give you the ability to look at these new games with a higher standard in the future. Start off with, let's go back to 4 or 5 years ago, with the video that really started it all for me. Deep Oaken Direct. Now, for context, I had a history with games made by Raguzer. I had already played his other hit game, Rogue Lineage, and had enjoyed it for a very, very long time. Although the game was far from perfect, I had many great memories playing it with my friends, and thus understood that Raguzer was capable of making a unique and entertaining game. I had also played Tales from the Valley, a game made by his lead developer Archmage, and had many great memories playing that game as well. This is all to say, when Deep Oaken got announced, I had very high expectations for the game. Just from the various leaks and sneaks that came out, I began to craft an image of the game in my mind. Now, I see that was a very romanticized image. These expectations all came to a head with the release of Deep Oaken Direct, a video that hoped to showcase what Deep Oaken was like to the public, and build excitement for the game. When I watched this video, it felt as if all my hopes for the game had been fulfilled. The combat, the movement, the enemies, the magic system, the map, hell, even the equipment system. It felt as if everything I had desired for the game came true. Even now, when I rewatch Deep Oaken Direct, I can feel those same expectations bubbling back up. I got so excited for the game, it led me to create my very own first game, titled Soulsborne, which was a dark fantasy RPG I made in about 2 weeks. A fun fact about Soulsborne is that I didn't realize it was an actual term beforehand, but yeah, it's a funny coincidence. The base structure of the game was meant to be a lot like Deep Oaken, but due to my, at the time, very limited game experience, and considering I was one of maybe only 2 or 3 developers, all inexperienced, working on the game, the vision for it was not fully met. Despite that, I can credit Deep Oaken as being the game that got me into game development, which used to be one of my favorite hobbies. I don't really know about anymore, but that's a story for another day. Over the next year or so, my expectations only built up more and more, with each new leak validating the mental image I had. It got to a point I believed Deep Oaken would become my favorite game, and that it'd be the best game on the platform. This was all without even playing the game a single time. I will admit, I was very naive. and that would be made very evident for me on December 20th, 2021, when the game finally released. Now, I can confidently say I haven't played Deep Oaken even half as much as I thought I would. Really, not even a tenth as much. This is because the game that released on that day was not the game I had been anticipating. Nothing close to it, actually. The combat, progression, hell, even the look and the feel of the game. It was entirely different to what I had been expecting, to what we had been shown. It's obvious that a game would change over time, make no mistake, especially during its development, but it felt as if the game we had all wanted, been anticipating, and had speculated about as a community was not the game we got. As someone who told all of my friends about Deep Oaken, even some of my family members honestly, I had been a constant, unyielding supporter of the game. And that made me feel even more stupid for ever believing in that romanticized image of the game I had. Really, it had been an unattainable dream. Castle in the sky. Now, make no mistake, this is not to say Deep Oaken is a bad game. It is still arguably one of the best games on the Roblox platform, and despite releasing 3, almost 4 years ago now, it still receives regular updates and has an active community. But Deep Oaken has lost the plot. Whatever they had originally intended for the game has been thrown out the window, and I wasn't interested in what remained. The most fun I had ever had playing Deep Oaken was the first week of the game going public, when everything was fresh and new and mysterious. Although I would have preferred it if content creators didn't spoil everything possible the day of, it had been a great experience to play that first public look into the game. But whatever that Deep Oaken was is gone now, replaced with a half-decent MMORPG that every day gets closer and closer to just being an anime battlegrounds game. Did you know that they're basically just adding League of Legends into that game now? It's crazy. Now, fast forward a few years, and I'm scrolling through YouTube when I see a video being recommended to me for a game called Jujutsu Infinite. It's being made by the same people who made Titan Revolt, an actually solid Attack on Titan game. And although this game is still deep in development, it seems promising, and a lot of people are building up hype for it. But at this point, I'd begun to see a pattern. Grand Kaisen, World of Magic, Shinobi Life 2, A Universal Time, and many more games which have since faded from my memory, all showing great potential, all being the focus of large amounts of excitement, all falling flat. Either failing to meet expectations, being borderline or sometimes even blatant scams, or sometimes even failing to just provide many of the things they promised. And in this game, Jujutsu Infinite, I saw many of the same flaws I normally see in these games. But the community was big, the developers were competent, and everywhere I went, I heard only praise for the game that was being released. So I quelled my skepticism and tried to be hyped for the game as well. Every now and then, I'd watch another video on the game stating how great it was, and how it would be the best Jujutsu Kaisen game on the platform. Eventually, I began to believe the same, and became excited for the game myself. Now, it's near the end of December 2024. Many more games have come and gone, being absolutely trash. May we never forget the abomination that was Pixel Piece. I hadn't heard much about Jujutsu Infinite in a while, and so I wasn't too concerned with anything about it, until I heard from a friend that the game would be releasing soon. The sheer amount of excitement they had for the game reignited mine as well, and we both prepared to play the game together. And as most of you watching this video probably know, the game was nowhere near worth the hype. A tedious, repetitive, and generally uninteresting progression loop, floaty combat system that involved 1,000 combo extenders, genuine pay-to-win aspects that gave others a direct advantage over you, and many other design choices that made it feel as if nobody had even bothered testing the game to begin with. Overall, a terrible experience. One that I would never recommend you play. Now, although what I've been talking about is quite negative, this isn't to say it's all bad. Some genuinely good games released in this time period, like Arcane Odyssey, a game I don't see getting anywhere near as much love as it should. However, as time goes on, it seems like games are being made with less and less passion, and Roblox developers are getting greedier and greedier. Paying $100 to test an unfinished game is absurd. I'd even go as far to say that no Roblox game currently on the platform will ever be worth $100 to play. This is why, when I see news for still upcoming games like Rel Cs or Holy War X, I can't help but look at them with an unreal amount of skepticism. There are very few games being developed that I'm genuinely excited for, and I hope I've made it clear why in this video. Regardless of whether you agree with what I'm saying or think I'm babbling nonsense, I'd like to hear your opinion on this matter because it's something I genuinely care about. This is my first time making a video like this, an in-depth commentary on something, and so I'd also like to know whether you like this format or not. If you're new to my channel, maybe contemplate subscribing. I definitely appreciate it considering how small my channel is. And make sure to check out my Twitch if you'd like to see more laid-back content by me. Just a few days ago, I made a tier list stream, and we ranked a bunch of characters, and it was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Overall though, that's really all I have to say. This was Neveremon, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video.